Today on my channel, Planner and Faith Friends, we're going to go through my prayer journal for February, and I'm going to explain to you 2 months in this prayer journal, what it's done for me, how I feel about it, and I'm going to encourage you with a challenge at the end of the video to join me for the next month in enjoying a prayer journal yourself. So please, friends, stay tuned. Hello, planner friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm One Crafty Doll, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. On Sundays, on my channel, it's always about Jesus, faith study, prayer journaling, Bible journaling, and a good mug of tea, often in a very ridiculous mug, as this one is, but I love them. So today what I'd like to do is to do a flip through of my prayer journal for February. Wow, that came and went quick, didn't it? And I want to talk to you about, after 2 months in this prayer journal, how it's working for me and some tips and some things that I can hopefully pass on to you if you're interested in doing likewise. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome to subscribe and tap the notification bell. Try that again. Notification bell. If you're returning, thank you. I love you. I love this community. I love your comments. Thank you so much. This is really a bright spot in my life. So let's open her up, shall we? I already did a flip through for January, so I can link that, certainly. I will probably... I'm thinking about redecorating maybe after Easter. I'm not sure. I like to redecorate in all my planners. And these journals from Erin Condren are for 3 months, which is good. If it was a full year, I think it would drive me crazy, but it's good the way it is. So this will be done in March. So maybe at the end of March, I think it would make sense if I feel like, I mean, obviously I'm going to have a new journal, but I don't know. Will I do all this? I don't know. We'll see. So this is the prayer journal, and I've been very happy in it. But I just wanted to give you some thoughts. And so before we go into February, I'm going to share with you 3 verses, and grab a pen and write these down, because these are really important verses for me personally. And that's why I want to share them. So number 1 is from Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Okay? Be still. This is a great space to be still. Jesus tells us often in the stories of his life, and others, his disciples, share with us how he would go off away from people and pray, that he needed to be in the wilderness, that he needed to have a quiet place and space for God. That is so hard in our world, isn't it? It's just one of the worst things. So this is my way of creating a quiet space. So that would be the first verse I would share with you. For the second verse, it's a little bit of a contrast, but hear me out. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And that is another favorite, Psalm 101, verse 1. And this... Okay, let me just share this with you. This is my joyful noise, because the Lord knows I'm not going to be singing. So I create happy spaces to celebrate my faith, to celebrate God, and that's really, really important for me. Okay, so the final verse I want to share with you is 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. So those 3 verses are my jumping off point. Why I would recommend you have a prayer journal. First off, it helps you draw closer to God and to Jesus and to grow in your faith. That is one of the primary reasons, if not the primary reason. In my case, I have anxiety. And so dealing with anxiety, oh gosh, look at this. This is from off of Matthew 6:31. Jesus tells us not to be anxious directly, okay? Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own troubles. And so if you're dealing with any kind of anxiety, depression, grief, loss, this is a great space to work through that and grow your relationship with God. I would also suggest that prayer stagnation, turns out, is a real thing. And I've avoided that by doing this. Now, I am using the YouVersion Bible app, but even within that, I change how I do this all the time. And it's a 3-step process. Okay, so I decorate, I read, and then I write. And as you can see, sometimes there's lessons, passages from the Bible. Sometimes there's prayer. Sometimes there's just these takeaways that I carry with me. And yeah, I just love this space. That's the best thing I can say. Looks like I missed, I think I missed this, didn't I? Yeah, and I used the wrong marker, but that's okay. All right, so you want to see your prayers in action. This is one way to document your prayers. And to, here's a day, I'm chronically ill, I have scleroderma. This was a day I was just bloody exhausted. God, I was so terribly worn today. I accept who I am and my limitations. I just ask for fortitude and strength in my illness. I know you've got me. And that helped me get up, get moving, and face the next day. Okay? You see your prayers in action, you see God's presence, and you see God's direction in your life through a prayer journal in a way that if you don't necessarily see it in a faith study. And sometimes you'll see here, I'll put in a passage that says think. And it comes from the passage above, John 15:7. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. And I'm asking myself, what does abide mean in this passage? Good question, right? And over here, Fat Tuesday, prepare for Lent, emotionally, in my heart, in my actions. I do like Lent. So again, this is working really well for me. You grow your faith life. You grow your connection to God in Jesus. I manage anxiety. I put my anxiety in here. Okay? That's really important for me. I put my anxiety in this place, and it helps me to get back up and to move on. This is obviously Ash Wednesday, Lent. And again, prayers for a Lenten season of meaning and cleansing, for grace, mercy, and forgiveness, for letting go of my failures and sins, for picking myself up and moving forward, for embracing God and Jesus, for letting go of endings, for beginnings. I would also suggest that doing this helps you, how do I want to say it? It increases your sense of purpose, and it's a good reminder through everything to God that God doesn't expect perfection. I was anxious. It's a long story. I was driving this day, and we lived somewhere previously where the roads were often closed and often impassable, and I found myself in some tricky situations driving-wise. It was really scary. There were times I just, the only thing I could see, the field of vision was so bad because of the weather conditions and so forth, were the taillights of the semi in front of me. And I would pray, and I would be like, I don't know how I'm going to get home. How am I going to make it? So I have some road trauma, driving trauma from that. And so I had to drive, and I was anxious. And, prayers for my parents, Lent is for cleansing and reflection. All of this is one way to become closer to, Lent brings us, I would say also a prayer journal brings us, right? Closer to Jesus, closer to God. And you can see I put in prayers, I put in these Bible verses. Again, the YouVersion Bible app has the guided prayer. Please use it, try it, and go from there. More verses. And then here I start to shift with a little bit less of the verses and more reflection and my own growth. And I think, and prayers. So I think even within the Bible app, after using it, because I was using it for months before this journal, again, I don't want to be stagnant. And so I ask myself questions sometimes, as I said, prayers. This is a wonderful space. You don't have to do anything fancy. Get a notebook. And so what I'd like to do is to challenge you for the month of March. Let's try this again. I would like to challenge you to join me with a prayer journal. I don't care what you're using, a notebook, a little flip book. You can get them at Dollar Tree, Walmart. You can go to Marshall's, has really inexpensive planners if you want to use a planner. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to decorate it. That just becomes a process for me to help me eliminate anxiety. So my challenge to you is for March, and let's end it for Easter and see how we do. Let's check in, right? So let's check in with each other and see how we've done. And as you can see here, I'm writing more like my truths, my prompts, and the prompt in the app was, God is what? So I wrote merciful, present, faithful, patient, restorative, loving, teaching, majesty, splendor, everything. Because prayer isn't just about requests. It's about praise. It's about needs. It's about direction. It's about guidance. It's about things like, it's recognizing your blessings, recognizing where you are. And listen, I want to meet you where you are. And I want to say to you, you matter. Your faith life matters. And I hope through these videos to uplift you the way this has uplifted me. So you need a prayer journal. Sorry, you do. This has been really great. And I'm so glad I've done this. This is where I keep sermon notes. So I've been doing that. And then in the back here is this gratitude journal I found. And again, you can use anything, but this I found on Mercari. They don't make it anymore, although I wrote to them and asked them to make one. So yeah, I have my notes here. That's what you're seeing over there. All right, friends, join me for this Lenten season for the rest of March, wherever you may be. Join me, start a prayer journal, see faith in action, and see if it helps you with anxiety, grief, fear, whatever you may be facing. And just know something. We're not alone. Thankfully, we're not alone. It's just sometimes we feel like we are, but no, God is in charge. Thanks so much for your time, planner friends. Have a blessed week and stay in faith. Bye, planner friends.